Accountants World. My name is Div Bansali, and joining us today is Hitendra Patil, Director of Practice Development at Accountants World, and he'll be presenting on the 5 surprisingly uncommon client insights that can power your firm's future. I want to thank you again for joining us today. We're looking forward to a really interesting presentation. Just a reminder, if you are on Twitter, you can tweet along with our presentation today, any insights that you gain from it, any questions that you have, anything that you'd like to share with the hashtag #ExpertWebinar. You'll see that on the bottom left of each of my opening slides here. And a couple of quick tips about using the GoToWebinar control panel and system. If you don't see the control panel, just look for the orange arrow that you can toggle that to expand or hide the panel. If you want to see your audio options, you can click the audio tab and then select either phone call or computer audio. And if you click phone call, it will give you the dial-in number and access code. As I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, if you go to the handouts tab, you're going to see not one, but 2 PDFs there. And the one you should be looking for is the expert webinar slides, 2 per page. The other one is an excerpt from Hitendra's book, Actionable, which he'll be talking about a little bit today. You can wait to download that. We're not going to be going through that, and you don't need to read that as our presentation is going along, but it's there for you to hold on to for later. And finally, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in at any time during the presentation, and Hitendra will be taking questions at the end of today's presentation. We do offer 1 CP for today's webinar, and that's based on active participation during the live presentation. Active participation means 3 things. Number 1, attending the live webinar for no less than 50 minutes. Number 2, responding to all polling questions. There are 3 of them today during the webinar. And then finally, as soon as you click out of the GoToWebinar window at the end of the presentation today, you'll see a post-webinar survey pop up. Just go ahead and fill that one out. It'll just take a minute or 2 and submit that, and then you're all set. You'll be notified about your CP within 3 business days, so probably early part of next week after Labor Day. And just to make sure it shows up, make sure to add webinar@accountantsworld.com to your trusted email list. Also, I should mention, if you don't see the post-webinar survey pop up when you close out, no worries. Tom on the Accountants World team will be sending out a post-webinar email, and that will include another link to the post-webinar survey as well. I wanted to mention another webinar that Accountants World is presenting right now, and this one is on how to build a premier client accounting services practice. So many of you either have already started or are looking at starting a full-fledged client accounting services practice to offer it to your clients. To be very successful with CAS, we've talked to hundreds of accountants who have already experienced success with it and thousands who are in the process of doing so. CAS involves a lot of different activities, processes, and coordination, and that sort of rigor is beyond the scope of most accounting systems, which were designed for clients first. So this webinar is going to demonstrate how our solution, Accounting Power CAS, gives you stronger control over client accounting, allows you to best serve the needs of all of your accounting clients, how you can use Accounting Power to allow you to do what your client staff currently does, except you can do it faster, easier, and more accurately. And then finally, it'll show how commodity services or perceived commodity services like bill payment can actually become highly profitable services for your practice to offer. We've got a webinar coming up tomorrow afternoon, and spots are still left for that one as well as for next week. So you can go ahead and register and see the upcoming webinars at profitablecas.com. That's all one word, profitablecas.com. So we look forward to seeing you there either tomorrow or next week. Finally, this still says about Chester Elton. That should say about Hitendra Patil. So apologies, Hitendra, for that. Hitendra is the Director of Practice Development at Accountants World. His writing has been featured in Accounting Today, CPA Trendline, CPA Magazine, Accounting Web, many other publications as well. And he is the author of the book Accountaneur, the Entrepreneurial Accountant, which is sort of the Bible on how accountants can become more entrepreneurial in both their thinking and their actions and strategies. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn over the floor to Hitendra Patil. Hitendra, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you see my screen as well?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dev, for the kind introduction. Although you renamed me, that's okay. Welcome, everyone. And this is going to be a really fast-paced webinar, so fasten your seatbelts and focus. So we just dive directly into the webinar now. What we're going to talk today is 4 or 5 things really why your own clients insights. So what you discover from your own clients can define your firm's future. How do you discover unique leverage worthy insights from your own clients? When I say leverage worthy means you should be able to multiply their impact. How do you turn those client insights into a process at your end so that it repeats itself? And what are those 5 surprisingly uncommon insights? So when I say surprisingly uncommon means I've seen this working at several firms really, really well. But at the same time, I do find that not many accountants really use it. And I just wanted to share these success secrets of these insights. And finally, I'll touch upon what do you do when your competitors copy your advantages and create some sort of fee pressure on you. And before we dive into the actual webinar slides, Dave, can you bring up the first poll question, please?
Sure. I will go ahead and launch that right now. So,
Mhm.
folks, you should see the first poll question in front of you, which asks, what do you do? And there are 5 options there, so you can pick any of the top 4 or other if none of those are applicable. Make sure to click the submit button to make sure that your vote is counted. And just a reminder, this is the first of the 3 poll questions that we'll be having during today's presentation, and voting in all 3 of them is required in order to earn CPE credit. So we'll take about 10 to 15 more seconds here. So if you are part of the 7% of folks who have not yet voted, please go ahead and do so quickly here. All right, we'll go ahead and close it out here in 5 seconds. Going once, going twice. All right, it's under. So we have 73% are a firm practice owner, managing partner, or partner, followed by 14% are working for an accounting, bookkeeping, tax, or payroll firm.
That's perfect. So almost 80-85% people attending today's webinar are some sort of decision makers at their firms, and the rest would someday get there, I hope. And that's what these insights should be able to help you. It looks like it will help everyone out here in attending today's webinar. So that's pretty cool. All right, so what really are insights? There is a little bit of a fog around here, and through my experience, my observations, it has been an evidence that great insights really reveal a deep discovery about the client, and that you can leverage to position your services and differentiating in meaningful ways. Now, great insights really go beyond what clients say they do and even go beyond their current behaviors and choices. Instead, great insights can impact future choices, attitudes, and behaviors. Now, I was just recently talking to a founder of a tech company that has developed a solution based on artificial intelligence, AI. And he told me an interesting thing. Most people think AI is a black box and you don't really know what's happening inside AI. But that is a wrong perception. You can actually tell more about what goes on in AI than what goes on in the human brain and mind. And today you're looking to discover insights from your clients' brains and minds. And that's a difficult task. But I think what I'm going to share with you in this webinar will make it a little easier for you. Now, findings is generally about data, observations, customers, what they're saying, and their wishes. So findings generally inform. Insights perform, and I'll come to that in a second. Insights are generally about human truths, the new ways of viewing the same information, trying to discover underlying motivations, why things were done in a particular way, the context in which the things happen, the dilemmas that your clients are facing, why are they doing what they're doing and what they're not doing. So when you look at findings, findings can help you solve the problem or problems of a particular client, whereas insights can create solutions that can create new clients for you. And that is one big reason why you need insights from your clients. Let's take a look at even more detailed uh, differentiation or this distinction between what really are findings and what really are insights. On findings, generally what is said by clients, what clients say, it can be about functions, features, tactical things, services. Findings are about actions, what clients are doing now. Findings are about facts, which are measurable and quantifiable. Findings share information, so they're informative. Whereas insights are about unsaid things, the why behind what clients are saying. And many times they relate to some kind of an emotion. Insights are about behavior, what clients may do in the future. Insights give you knowledge about why the facts form in the first place. And insights, most importantly, are actionable, because once you have those real insights, you can define your future actions for your firm. It's a cycle. It starts at the data discovery point of view, the number one here, the D, where you collect and organize data about clients' choices, feelings, expressions, joys, concerns, demands, etc. And then you go and analyze that information. And I'll take a detailed example on how do you analyze this information when you collect it from your clients. Now, in step 3, you arrive at insights. And from there, you go to define your strategy and actions based on those insights. It's very important not to stop at insights. You need some kind of an actionable item emerging from those insights. Now, at stage 4, if you feel there is nothing actionable, you got to go back to your insights, and you should find some kind of replicable actions in there. And if you cannot do that, it's a problem, which means you are left with just findings, not insights. And you need to repeat this cycle, as they say, nail it to scale it. And do you feel if this is a bit of a challenging to put this in practice? There's a simple way to remember all of this. Imagine that you are on a dais at a conference. Now, strategic actions based on insights literally put you on the dais, DAIS, on the dais of your clients' lives, and you lead them. When you have insights that help you define strategic actions at your end, you're leading your practice to be more profitable for you. Of course, you will need some specific tools and technologies to deliver the promise of the insights into turn into profitability. But you definitely need to know insights from your clients to support your resources and processes. So why do your clients' insights really matter to your firm more from your own clients? Now, historically, businesses really have underestimated the value and role of accounting, and hence accountants as well. Most people who work in the businesses, your clients, the businesses that you serve, the people who work in those businesses and who feel they're doing accounting really do not have professional accounting background. They only have need-based interactions with accounting and accountants. Accounting info generally was used for monitoring purposes in these businesses. For example, did we spend more than what we budgeted for? The perception of accounting being a rear view mirror was formed because of several reasons, and one of the top reasons was because accounting technology was predominantly a desktop technology for years and years. That technology literally chained the accounting database to the desk, and mostly it was chained to the client's desk, and so accountants had to go to that data, and they would do so only after the client is done with whatever data entry that client was doing. So it was mostly rear view. Now, as an accountant, you really are one of the most capable professionals to influence your client's decision making. And hence, you want a seat at the strategy table of your clients, not just in their back offices. And you get to that strategy table when you provide strategic insights to your own clients. You know your clients better than anybody else. You know your clients better, you help them better. And when they refer clients to you, it's not just a contact they're passing on to their connections. Because of their experience of receiving some kind of benefit from your services, that's what they're telling their friends and colleagues. So they spread the word around your services. They refer clients back to you. Now, you can replicate the success from your own clients much faster. If you do your market research and things like that, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money for you to do that. But your client website, client insights are really very easy for you to manage, and much cheaper, much faster for you to do. And of course, other accountants will not know your clients as good as you do. So it's not easy for them to copy your insights. That's why it's very important for you to generate insights from your own clients. But how do you do that? How do you uncover leverage-worthy insights? How do you find insights that you can en masse apply to your marketing and sales processes, for example? So we'll cover that in a little bit. Now, this is a little tough slide. This is based on neuroscience, and I'm not going to go into too much of details in this. But according to neuroscience, there are actually 5 different brains within one physical brain that human beings have. And each of those 5 brains are hardwired differently. But together, they help us sort out and sort through our interactions with others. Now, real insights are a combination of inputs from all these 5 brains. Now, I've been utilizing and relating all of this to accounting profession for quite some time now, and you will see how they impact our quest for discovering insights from your clients. A quick tip here, you can just print the slide or keep the slide as a reference slide for you. And whenever you're trying to deal with your clients, interact with your clients to generate insights, just take a look at the words in bold font out here. Those are the things that you want to focus on when you're interacting with your clients. So how do you uncover? The first and simplest thing to do is ask. You'll be surprised how many accountants really do not ask their clients about the real feedback. It's not about getting 3 or 4 stars or 5 stars out there by ticking some questions. It's about actually finding information. You can do that through surveys and polls, and you can use very simple free tools like Google Forms to do this. You don't need a very high-tech system to get the surveys done. Anybody in your office who interacts with clients, your client service representatives, those are the people who are really positioned to bring you really good insights, but they need to make some notes real quick. The moment the call is over, you make notes, and finally at the end of the month, you combine those notes and take a quick review. You will find some traits and trends and patterns in them. The other way to do so is discover. You can go and check the reviews on Google and Yelp and things like that. You'll find clients saying some things there. You can go to social media posts that your clients are posting. And again, you don't need to spend too much time here. There are tools available. For example, you can use this website called ifttt.com. It's called if this then that then that.com. What it does is it allows you to set up routines by which it collects whenever your client goes and posts something on Twitter, for example, it can bring that tweet right into an Excel sheet or a Google sheet. And you collect all these expressions from your clients into a sheet. And again, once in a month, you review that, you will know what is the trend and what they're saying, what are the common words, etc. Client complaints are one of the biggest sources of insights, because it's a telltale thing about some kind of an expectation mismatch. And that could be because they misunderstood the terms and scope of work, or they had different perceptions. And that's an opportunity for you to fine tune your messaging, even right at the sales pitch level. Client experiences, when they praise you, when they thank you, again, there is some kind of a mismatch in expectations, but this is on the positive side. So they found some benefit that they didn't expect, perhaps. So when you find that out, you want to multiply that by selling that benefit to your prospects. Uh, of course, insights from the client's own accounting, information from the accounting software, that is very specific to their business, and that also plays a very important role. I met one of my ex-clients after years and 19 years in CPA practice, and he said after 19 years, I realized that the business owners don't really want to manage the balance sheet. It's a job of an accountant, but what they definitely need to know is what is in there, what's the story, and that the accountant needs to tell. And of course, don't forget the DAIS method. Make it an iterative process. Go back to your clients. If you feel something is an insight that you received, from all that analysis, you want to validate that with the client, with your clients, going to your client and saying something like, "Hey, Mr. Client, I think our services do X, Y, Z for businesses like you. Do you think that's what is your experience?" They might say, "Yes, exactly. That's what we wanted," or they might say, "No, no, no, no. Actually, it does it like this." So you can find that when you validate those insights with your own clients. So you ask questions to discover insights. You ask a very simple question. Let's say there is a situation in a business and you want to ask the business owner not about the numbers really, but something like, so what does this mean for you and your business? What does this mean for your plans, for example? Or you ask a question like, how do you think this happened? So they will express. Basically, the questions that make clients express their mind are the questions that you want to ask. Other way to find more insights is replace a word or two in what your clients say. Take, for example, somebody says, I need my tax return done. And if it's a business owner who needs a business tax return done, and if you just replace the word return with strategy or planning or resolution, what will that mean for your services, and what will that mean for your client as well? So sometimes just replacing a word can open up new opportunities for both you and your clients. Now look for delight moments. Satisfaction is a zero level thing. Everybody promises that. Sometimes you will see that entrepreneurs can be really excited about their business and can be overly optimistic. And in that moments, they'll tell you something about their delightful moments. So those also give you a peek into their psyche, how they're thinking. Sometimes they might express fears and not really directly in straightforward words. But for example, let's say somebody says, hey, I don't want to be late in filing. So obviously this client is really compliance minded, compliance oriented. They will appreciate timely service delivery. They will appreciate the accuracy. And in their own minds, they will literally detest, hate delay. So you don't want to delay your service to such clients who are compliance oriented. So these are some tricks that you can easily deploy in your day-to-day interactions to discover quite a few insights that you can apply to your sales processes, marketing, when you're dealing with prospects, so that your success is a little quicker than before. So here I'm going to take a quick example on what insights can come out of the accounting software itself. So this one is a CFO Insights Dashboard that we have in our own software, Accounting Power Client Accounting Services, or Accounting Power CAS. So if you look at just one single screen, you are going to get insights into profit and loss comparison, revenue expense comparisons, budget and actual expense in comparisons, and these are all line graphs. Now, just remember these two words, line graphs. I will touch upon it, why I'm emphasizing on these two words. Then on the right-hand side, you have cash balances, invoices past due, payables, drill down capabilities, etc. So what I'm trying to say here is softwares do have higher end capabilities now for you to be literally their outsourced CFOs and giving them insights about their business without you needing to spend too much of time analyzing a lot of information about your clients. Now, once you discover these insights, how do you turn these insights into actionable, replicable processes? How do you multiply their impact? So basically, what what you want to do with insights is take them and take them back to your prospects and other clients so that they see additional value in what you can deliver to them. So we'll cover that in a bit. But before that, Dave, can you bring up the second question as well?
Sure, I will get that up right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, you should be seeing the second polling question open in front of you right now, which is how many accounting clients do you have? And we have 5 choices there, ranging from 1 to 25 up to over 250. Go ahead and select the option that is applicable to you and make sure to click the submit button. This is the second of our 3 polling questions today.
Yeah, so those of you who are not in accounting business and have 0 clients but still need the CPE, you can just select the first option. That's okay.
All right, so we'll go ahead and take about 10 more seconds here for people to go ahead and respond if you haven't done so already. Okay, last call, and we are closed. All right, Hitendra, so just under half of people said 1 to 25, and then a pretty even split after that. Each of the other 4 options had between 10 and 18%.
Okay. I think I went out of the webinar.
So while you're bringing that back up, just for anybody who's following along here, we had 49% say 1 to 25 clients, 18% said 26 to 50, 10% said 51 to 100 clients, 12% said 101 to 250, 11% are working at firms that have over 250 clients there.
Hey, I think I just got out of the webinar. I can't see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It shows me off air, so I can't see myself as an organizer anymore.
Let me see here. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm still seeing you here live.
Hitendra, I have your PowerPoint up. So if you want, I can be made the presenter and you can just read off of my slides and tell me when to go to the next slide.
Okay, so where do I see? Okay. Now
Actually,
it
there you go.
shows on. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So, all right. So, are you able to see my screen now?
Yep. I think we're seeing your
Okay.
screen now.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, all right. So we have our payroll platform called Payroll Relief, and we recently did a survey of our users, hundreds of responses. And this is to show you the method that we used to analyze and come up with actionable insights. So we had one of our users comment, a very simple, normal, standard testimonial kind of a comment, and saying I had not actively offered payroll services prior to using Payroll Relief, and the program is extremely user-friendly and is proving to be a profitable service. So on the face of it, it looks pretty simple, nice little positive thing. But we did a little quick analysis to find action words. So there were fears they were not actively offering payroll. And then there were experience expressions saying that it was extremely user-friendly. And then there was an outcome that was expressed saying it was proving to be a unprofitable service. So if you look at the orange words in box A, the second box, you'll see 3 things highlighted there. Then we further analyzed that to figure out the insights. So when the user said they were not actively offering, why did they not want to actively offer payroll? And we found that they were not willing to offer any services unless they were 100% sure that they can deliver on the timely services that they wanted to promise to their customers, their clients. And then there was, of course, the concern whether taking up a new service and going through a new learning curve of new software, is it going to be too expensive in terms of time and effort? And the moment they found that this was user friendly, they could implement really quickly, and that was the concern that the software itself addressed. But at the end of it, they wanted some kind of an outcome, not just for the clients, but also for the firm. So it has to work for both clients and the firm. So it proved to be a profitable service. And they were told that payroll is all pains and no gains, and you only lose money in payroll. But that was so 1990s, and they did realize that it actually makes money for them. So what did it mean for us at Accountants World? So we looked at strategic, actionable insights that we could utilize in our own processes when we were talking to prospects. So we started providing independently verifiable proof. As a software creator, I would obviously go and say my software is the greatest. But people who are actually using it, peers, when they shared their experiences, we found that it was pretty good in terms of the new prospects calming down their nerves. We started demonstrating the processes, not just in terms of features, but how the whole software flows very simplistically and very easily. And then we started sharing some kind of benchmark data with our prospects, saying, generally what would what would accountants charge for payroll, and what are they going to pay us, and how much money is there to be made in payroll services. So we go through that DAIS ourselves all the time. This is another example of our other software called Accounting PowerCast. Now, this is a little bigger, longer kind of a statement, and I wouldn't go too much into the details here, but I'll just touch upon the insights that we figured out, the third column here. So the problem at this particular firm was hiring and training staff and then losing the staff was an issue, and we wanted something that could treat the disease, not just the symptoms. And the direct impact of this problem was the growth was not as fast as the owner would want to have seen. So we looked at that as another insight for us. And when they implemented Accounting PowerCast, they found that it gives the talented staff better opportunities. So moving them from data entry to better insights to their own clients by giving them analytical tools ingrained in the software. So we again share insights with the prospects. When we talk with our prospects, we try to find out the growth trends in their practices, and we try to find out the issues, if there are any, what is slowing their growth down. And then we show the capabilities of the software that makes the staff's work more interesting and easier, so that it's not a owner level decision only. It involves the staff, and hence it kind of touches everyone's lives in the accounting firm. So we looked at things pretty differently through these survey results to derive those insights. Here's another screen from Accounting PowerCast, which is kind of a simple ratio analysis, and I'm showing this for one particular purpose. When we come to the actual 5 insights that we are going to talk about, this will tell you why I am showing this screen. So this particular screen shows, for a given client, what were the key financial ratios last year and this year. And the accountant has the ability to bring in information from, let's say, a Google search, to bring in the industry standard ratios, so that the accountant can look at these ratios within the client, or what's the trend, what was the ratio last year, what's the ratio this year, is it good or bad, and how does it compare to the industry, is it good or bad compared to the industry. And those are the advisory inputs that will finally be delivered to your clients when you speak with your clients at the end of the month. So when you want to turn client insights into actionable processes, You want to see which ones are the insights that can uniquely solve a real problem, possibly of several different clients that you might have. You want to find out what insights will fulfill a want, not just a need, fulfill a want of your clients. And then you want to package that into your offering. So your marketing messages, your sales pitches, your service emails, everything could include something about those insights that your clients will find really good. So what are the 5 surprisingly uncommon client insights you absolutely want to leverage? Now, this goes back to that neuroscience thing. It's not directly tactically inclined to align with accounting information only, but as you will see, basically remember 5 C's that are very important for your client. Context. Context is about what happens before, during, and after some situations that created a particular experience or a feeling or a thought in the minds of the client. What's the context? The choices. Entrepreneurs, when you serve your business owners, they're always facing dilemmas, several choices to pick their own choice from. They generally don't pick the choice, as we'll see in the next slide, but there are a lot of dilemmas your clients are facing. Then the cause, the why behind their actions, or sometimes the why behind their inactions. Then the compulsions, what made them make a particular decision, take a particular action, or not take a particular action. What was the real compulsion? Because they have so many choices, why did they pick one choice? What was the compulsion? And then you want to conform with their expectations. One of the biggest challenges and problems that I see at accounting firms is when clients start working with accountants, suddenly the clients face a lot of change, and change everybody resists, as you know. So first thing is to get into conformity with their expectations, as they say, ride the horse in the direction where the horse is running. But then you start setting up those expectations that are right for them, and then you turn them into conforming with your thoughts. So let me cover this in a bit of more detail. Context, it's about those industry trends. It's about how they compare with the peers in their industry. And this is something that you can use using those ratio analysis that compare with industry benchmarks. It is about their trends in their own business. So when you compare it last year to this year, and these financial ratios can be really powerful to give you some insights. And then you have the decisions or the indecisions that resulted in their business trends. So how did they arrive at a particular balance sheet number? Because of what decisions? So you want to figure out that context. And here the insight that I want to really share with you is entrepreneurs really understand only their own thinking. So you want to first understand their passion, and then you want to show them whether they're closer to achieving their dream or they're actually drifting away from it. Now, the more you appeal to their core thoughts, the more you will earn the trusted advisor role. So in their subconscious mind, the question is always there: how is my competitor making more than me? Or will I miss out the trends in my industry? There's nothing more important to them than their own situations. So what got them where they are now? So that's the context that you want to figure out whenever you're talking to them about their financials. The next one is choices. Again, as entrepreneurs, they have a lot of dilemmas, a lot of choices to make. Sometimes they don't even know what are the possibilities. They don't know what they don't know. And as an accountant, you might have dealt with similar industries, similar types of businesses. So you're in a better position to show them or make them aware of newer or different possibilities. Choices, they're making an informed decision, or are they making a time pressure decision? That's another thing that you would want to talk with your clients. And again, going back to those decisions and indecisions that result in the numbers that they produce. One very counterintuitive insight is entrepreneurs do not select from the choices. they make their own choices, they create choices. So you want to tell them the situation demands them to create more choices. For example, don't tell them the what, saying that, oh, you need to reduce your overhead. Instead, you want to tell them the why. That is, you're making no money because your overhead is high. And they will then ask you, what do you think? So let them ask that. That's the advisory role where you want to finally reach. And once they kind of start consulting you on these kind of questions, they will know that, oh, I need to talk to my accountant on this. The more they think like that, the better it is for you. Then we are talking about the cause, their whys. Why did they do something that they did, or why they didn't do something that they didn't? And I found that there's always another core why behind the why that you superficially see. It sometimes relates to their own belief systems, and sometimes it might relate to their resources. Entrepreneurs absolutely don't go with the flow. And that's why you want to show them the line graph. Remember the line graph, I asked you to remember those two words. Show them the line graph of their financials. A horizontal, a near straight line graph will wake them up from their slumber. They're used to upward rockets. That's why they went into business. So they want to see those rockets. So they will change the flow. They'll take some actions. Now, the top insight is that your understanding of the client's perception of the role of an accounting professional and the value you bring to the business world, that is something that you want the client to understand. Most of the times, the perception about accountants might come from their prior experiences. And there were several examples of this when people shared some stories with me. For example, there were two brothers of the clients of a CPA, and one brother always paid higher amount for accountant's compilation or review report. And why was such report required by the bank? And other client, the brother, did most of his accounting himself, and he just couldn't figure out why a simple report cannot be generated from, let's say, QuickBooks. And the CPA couldn't explain that to him, what's the value, because the brother did never figure out what's the real value of the accountant. And that's why you need to know the real why in the minds of your clients. Then we come to compulsion. Your goal is to understand their compulsions, what motivated them to take a particular or make a particular decision. Now, your advisory or consulting service success depends on your ability to identify what their compulsions are and how do you provide them that guidance to work out alternatives. So your aim, again, is to put them into the habit of consulting you before key decisions are made. So why do they select a choice over others? So if you as an accountant understand that, you will align with their thinking really quickly. Does their belief system drive their choices? Is that a temporary choice, or is there a trend in their choice? So given a particular situation, repeating situation, they will always make a particular choice rather than another choice. And you want to be able to figure out what impact could be there if they selected a different choice. Again, entrepreneurs make their own rules. It's their risk that they have taken. So they think the risk and reward is all theirs. So you want to tell them what the real risks are, and you want to leave it to them on how to overcome those risks. Many times they'll find their own things, but sometimes they might come back to you and say, "Oh, how do other clients of yours do it?" And that's what you want. You want them to consult you for such kind of risk analysis or choice alternatives. And then you look at the last C, that is conform. You want to conform to their expectations, to their aspirations, to their fears, to their methods. You align yourself with them. And one of the key reasons for this is they're already in the future. They have in their mind seen the future. If I do X business and I do it this way, I will reach this particular level. And once they do that, they're already in the future. So you want to paint the future for them. You want to tell them that if your current trends continue, this is what your future will look like. If you have the resources, you can actually present their future income statement or the balance sheet right now. And they will see that, oh, in 2020, this is how my business will look. Oh, that's what I wanted. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That is something that you can do only when you conform to their expectations and align with their expectations to paint that future for them that they want to see. And obviously, you're showing them the reality mirror. You're helping them achieve their ideal future. Right? So if you combine all of this and just take one look at this slide, and this is like something that you can print and keep it for reference. But if you carefully consider what's written here, you will be able to relate each of these C's to those 5 brains that we discussed earlier. And when you combine all of this, you'll be able to discover more and better insights for your clients. And this could be different based on your niches, if you specialize in certain niches, or certain levels of services, or certain problems that you solve very well compared to other accountants. It could mean many things for your practice. So once you have all these insights with you and your clients align with you, they consult with you more and more. What do you do if you find your competitors copy your advantages and create some sort of fee pressure? So that's something that happens. People do copy. That's the market. You can't change it, but you can do something about it. But before that, Div, can we get the third poll question up, please?
Sure. Let me go ahead and get that up here. All right, folks, you should be seeing the third poll question up right now, which is what's holding you back from reaching your revenue or profit or other goals? And so the first one is nothing. I'm doing more marketing now. Second, I'm happy with what I have now. And then you see the other 3 options there as well. So go ahead and select one of the following, whichever one you think is most applicable to your situation right now. Make sure to click the submit button. This is our third and final poll question today. All right, and we'll go ahead and give about 10 to 15 seconds here for people to go ahead and vote if you haven't already done so. I see about 10% of you have not yet done so, so let's go ahead and get those votes in here. Okay, we are about to close this up. Any last votes here? Going once, going twice, and here we go. So Hitendra, 36% said not many referrals coming in, 27% I'm happy with what I have now, 21% nothing, I'm doing more marketing now, and then 8% each for commoditization and an older technology stack.
Okay, that sounds pretty interesting distribution of the reasons. And I'm sure the people who are doing marketing now, more marketing now, they must be doing something correctly in their offices so that their processes are working to deliver results to even more number of clients. Okay, so do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so what do you do when competitors copy your advantages? And most likely, it won't happen soon if your client insights are really well discovered. And discovering client intelligent insights by leveraging technology is not really copyable. So you want to use the technology and combine your process knowledge that you gained over the years in such a way that it becomes a unique offering. So you want to revisit the DAIS method maybe once a quarter, maybe once in 6 months, and revisit your strategies. If you find you were competing on price, you want to move away from selling lower cost services. I know it's easier said than done, but there is no other choice really. You want to stay close to your most important clients. You want to increase your frequency of interactions with them. because those are the ones who will really tell you things that you would never imagine were possible in their minds. So then those will give you even more insights. You want to also assess competitive shift. Technology is a great equalizer in any and every field, but delivering intelligence or discovering intelligence from that technology by leveraging it for your practice is totally different. It's almost proprietary in nature, how you use technology to deliver your service. You don't want to claim what everyone else claims. And if you do a quick Google search about accounting firms, you will find these three words: responsiveness, personalized service, and knowledge, so often used that it has lost its relevance. So you don't want to claim what everyone else claims. You might want to focus on narrower niches. It could be the industries in which you specialize, or it could be some key problems that your clients face, and you solve those problems in a much better way than other accountants do. And you can find profitable niches just by going to, let's say, labor statistics site of US government, where they project for 10 years what will be the growth in which industries. So you will always know, those are the types of clients that you want to chase, because those could be transaction heavy, or those could be growth oriented industries. And then you want to sell one or two critical insights that you really mastered. For example, one of my ex-clients who was in a particular niche, restaurant accounting, his sales team would go to prospects and tell one sentence to the prospect, another restaurant owner. So, Mr. Restaurant Owner, we are an accounting firm, but we can come back to you and tell you something like, okay, go and buy pork skin within next 3 weeks, because if you don't do that, you are bound to pay $10,000 to $12,000 a year more in your pork skin inventory. And the restaurant owner would go, how the hell do you do that? And they would say, that's because we specialize in restaurant accounting, and we know exactly how the market moves in terms of prices, and we keep track for you. And the restaurant owner thinks in his mind, oh, I'm going to pay this firm $24,000 a year, $2,000 a month, but out of that, $12,000 will just come back to me just like that by saving me inventory in just one item. So it's a no-brainer. And this insight that they derived from their own clients' databases, they did it in Excel. No sophisticated software, nothing. They just figured out there is something that they can offer more to their clients than just balance sheets and income statements. And finally, don't lose the focus on client insights. That's something that you want to really print and put it on in front of you. Client insights, those two words, because those are the ones that really give you competitive advantage. I have covered many more aspects on client interactions and insights in my book, Account Tenure. And in the handouts, you will find a sample preview chapters from that book that you can just download the PDF from here. And you'll also find a special coupon for you to obtain 20% discount if you really want to buy the whole book and read it. And with that, I am through with what I wanted to share today. I know it was a real quick, fast thing, but if there are any questions, I'll be really happy to answer them.
Okay, great, Hitendra. Thank you so much for your talk today. There is not a question, but a comment, and I would love to get your feedback on it. Jean wrote in and said, it's interesting that 36% of poll respondents stated a lack of referrals. I think it's partially because clients don't appreciate the services that their accountants offer. So I was wondering if you think that might be an explanation there.
Interesting question, really. And there are multiple possibilities out here. And one of the possibilities is that you never told the clients to send you the referrals. And I have seen some of the accountants' emails, their footer says your referral is the most appreciated thing that we can ever have. Sometimes the out of office messages have a line that, if you find somebody who can benefit from our services just like you, please send them our way. So you need to ask. Two, yes, is that something that you're delivering as a service? is really valuable to your clients in their minds, in their perceptions. And that's why I said you need to align yourself with their passions. If you find that happening, you will find that value goes up really quickly in the minds. You might be delivering the same result, the same service, the same reports, but they will see a different value in it. And as I said, you need to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Great. And David asked, where can we find industry standards for profit margins?
Not necessarily profit margins, but you can see industry benchmark ratios, some of the key financial ratios on some websites that give statistics away. Statista.com, I guess, is one of the sites. Just Google it, you'll find. Sometimes it's good to go to industry websites, the restaurant association, for example. You will find some information there. If you service more clients from a particular industry, you can just compare the results within your own office. Even if you have 5 or 10 clients belonging to the same industry, you still have a benchmark data that you can easily compare without, of course, sharing the actual details with anyone. You just pick the figures and compare. So there are multiple ways to do that.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
So if anybody has any other questions, please go ahead and submit them at this point. I'm going to go ahead and take back control here. And thank you again, Hitendra, for your presentation today. By the way, Hitendra, did you explain earlier what the Accountanor excerpt PDF is? What they'll be able to get in there?
Well, I just didn't do too much deeper dive into it, but basically I just picked up a few chapters from that book. There are 52 chapters, one for each week or so, week's reading. And out of that, I picked up almost 10 chapters out there and some excerpts from those chapters. But basically, what I'm trying to do through that book is make accountants aware that there are things outside of your routine processes and softwares and things like that that can get you far more insights into your clients' brains. The more you know about them, the better you can service it. So that was the aim of that book. It's a pretty easy read. One of the CPAs that very recently bought the book, she read it in one sitting. So it's a pretty easy read.
That's great. All right. There are a couple of other administrative questions that have come in, but Tom, if you can go ahead and respond to those. Uh, Final thing I wanted to mention is, again, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate having all of you here as attendees, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the next expert webinar. That will be 3 weeks from 3 weeks from tomorrow, actually. It is September 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be Eric Askerson, the CEO and president of CPA.com. He'll be talking about how technology is creating opportunities for digital CPAs. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, go ahead and register at 2018webinars.com, 2018webinars.com. And also just a reminder, I saw a couple of questions come in asking about the client accounting services webinar that we're now offering. That is a totally free webinar. It's a one-time webinar, so you can show up at any time. It's offered twice a week, every week. So if you'd like to attend tomorrow's or one of our sessions next week, there are still seats available, and you can go ahead and save your seat for that webinar by registering at profitablecast.com, profitablecas.com, all one word. And we look forward to seeing you there tomorrow, and look forward to having you join us again at the next expert webinar in 3 weeks. Hitendra, thanks again for your time today. And
Thank you.
thanks. And everybody, please have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Happy Labor Day to everyone. Thank you so much.